Something bad is going to happen. Something bad has happened. I think more will happen. And to be clear, this is the attack that I thought you were pro-free speech. I am. The solution to bad speech is more speech. Absolutely. Really quickly, and this, just as we're about to go live, we don't have a lot of information. An attacker stabbed 2 people in London, specifically a Jewish neighborhood. As the information comes in, we'll roll a video here in just a few moments. Looks like he specifically targeted Jewish people, chased them down and stabbed them. I always try and, hold a little bit and get information before, or see the whole picture before we deliver information to you. I think there's going to be a press conference. But this brings me to a point, I sent this and I considered actually sharing these texts with blurring out any personal information. Gerald knows this, and people here know this. Over the last week, I have told people, I've said, look, I really think something pretty bad is going to happen here soon. And I don't just mean based on vibes. I don't just mean, oh, my gut tells me something. I mean through the objective, the variables that I could quantify objectively. We're at an unprecedented place, and I want to give you some specific examples, and it's very disturbing. Look, we know that the left, right? We've talked about this, and they've doubled down. The rhetoric from the left, Nazi, fascist, rapist, pedophile protectors, you see that, right? Genocidal maniac, whatever it is that they use. There's a straight line between that and the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the attempts on President Trump. It's pretty easy to see because, hey, they believe that. The left is detached from reality. They believe, many of them, not all of them, not all, that you're a Nazi. They believe that you're a fascist. They believe that you would commit genocide against trans people. Many people believe that about Charlie Kirk. Well, put yourself in a world where you 100% know beyond any shadow of a doubt that your neighbor is a Nazi who is killing trans people. You'd probably stop them too. That's where these people are. So we know that. But that brings me to the Marxist right. This is why I say something bad is going to happen. I have never seen this in my lifetime. Look, wherever you line up on Erica Kirk, the optics or decisions made as far as the organization TPUSA, that's beside the point. The gleeful celebration and mocking the pain of a widow, and I don't use the term trauma the way that other people use it. It's traumatic, I had a bad boyfriend. No. Probably had to watch her husband be murdered hundreds of times and answer questions and identify the body. And I would imagine doesn't know which way is up emotionally and probably won't for a while now. People going out of their way to attack, mock, and specifically the pain of the widow used as a tool. I don't mean like O.J. Simpson jokes about it because everyone kind of knew that he did it and it's a joke on a late night show. I mean, if you go on social media, oh, is your husband dead? Cry about it, husband killer, and to the tune of hundreds of thousands of posts and millions of views and likes and retweets. It's a level of evil and demonic, I don't know how else to describe it, that is actually detached from reality. Because people will then respond, well, you know what, that husband offer. Someone said this when I responded. That husband offer deserves it. Are you sure about that? That's how people justify the kind of behavior we're seeing. Yeah, that person who killed her, she deserves it. You better have some really, really solid evidence to go after a widow and mock the pain of losing a husband publicly, repeatedly, if you're going to do that. And I haven't seen any evidence of it. But people live in a world, these same people believe, you guys need to be aware of this. When we talk about the fracturing of the right, I'm not talking about policy disagreements on marginal tax codes or even the level of foreign intervention. I'm talking about there is a contingency of people who believe, who claim to be on the right, that we have an administration that is protecting, abetting, supporting pedophiles and actively sacrificed Charlie Kirk with a complicit TPUSA and Erica Kirk. They believe that 100%. And if you say, hold on a second, maybe that's not correct, let's walk through the evidence, they believe 100% that you are paid for, usually by Israel, to say that. So let me ask you this. When I say something bad is going to happen, what would you do if you genuinely 100% believed that a man was assassinated by his wife, organization, or the administration, or a foreign government, and that all of the people telling you otherwise want to send your children to die, want to shed your children's blood for Israel? There are many, many thousands of people who believe that. Just like the left believes that you're a Nazi and a fascist and a rape supporter. I have never seen this. And I can tell you that I have sat across from enough people. You know, I do have that luxury, a privilege of having done Change My Mind and having done cable news for a long time. I've sat across from enough people where I've seen people who maybe haven't thought of this, and I'm maybe informing them or enlightening them with some new information, and we can have a conversation. And I also am able to identify the difference between them and people who hate me, but kind of want to get one over on me, make a point that maybe I haven't thought of, score some points, but still kind of accept those terms. And I've also sat across from people who have either told me, or I'm very intensely aware, not only wouldn't care if I lived or died, but would gladly pull the trigger if they can get away from it. And I see that same mindset, I see that same behavior posture way more than I'm comfortable with. And no, this is not me saying that people need to be silenced and you can't express opinions. I am just saying that once upon a time, mocking specifically the pain of a widow who just lost her husband was something that would be considered impermissible within the bounds of decency and required a serious amount of proof to justify. That doesn't seem to be a part of the equation with a certain contingency right now. And so you can mark this, unless something changes, something bad is going to happen. And I've been saying that this last week, and I pray to God that I'm wrong. I genuinely do. I'm just sounding the alarm because I have a platform, and hopefully some of you guys will listen. Hopefully you can talk with these people who are in your life and maybe talk them away from the ledge a little bit, try and reason. But I think that you may not be acting in some of these cases. People who believe all of that wholesale, not people who have questions, not people who have opinions, people who believe wholesale that Group A, usually Erica Kirk, TPUSA, the Trump administration, have sacrificed, murdered Charlie Kirk, and anyone who tries to tell you that that may not be the case and wait for evidence is in fact a psyop who wants your children to die for Israel. People who believe that and can be told nothing to the contrary, be very careful. Be very careful, because that can be a dangerous person. And we see it to whatever degree right now. We have this video. I don't know if we're allowed to run this on YouTube. This is breaking as we go live. Jewish neighborhood, I guess it's Golders Green in London. The images you're about to see are disturbing. I have no information on the attacker. Willing to bet he probably believed that all Jewish people are evil. There's a cabal of pedophile, rape apologists. Probably believed quite a bit of this. I don't know the facts, but I'd be willing to bet that he's believed quite a few pieces of propaganda out there, because he deliberately sought out, chased down, and stabbed Jewish people with no other motivation as far as we know at this point. Here's a video. Something bad is going to happen. Glad to see those UK beat cops grow a spine at least.
Bin Thomas, kill him.
Something bad is going to happen. Something bad has happened. I think more will happen. And to be clear, this is the attack that I thought you were pro-free speech. I am. The solution to bad speech is more speech. Absolutely. When there is some argument to be had in good faith, you cannot respond to bad speech or inaccurate speech with better or accurate speech if you know the inevitable comeback is, you're paid to say that. Every single one of you who has an opinion, regardless as to the degree of informedness, must be a paid psyop, and everyone else, don't believe any word they say for a second. Well, guess what? That's poisoning the well, and good speech can no longer be an antidote to bad speech. So I'm not saying that no one should be able to speak, everyone should, but really be aware and mark the people who use that tactic. Anyone who says, folks who disagree with me are paid by X, or they are only saying it because of Y, that's a dangerous person. That's not a person who wants to have a conversation in good faith, and it's probably not one you should trust as a source of information. Oh, you're still here watching this on YouTube? There's no more. It's over. Just like YouTube. YouTube is over. It's not a thing anymore. How many Seth Meyers clips do you need? Head on over to Rumble. Follow me there. Live on weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern, where we can actually speak freely and don't have to self-censor. YouTube it's really not a thing. Like, you ever seen one of those towns that maybe was like a mining town, or maybe they made some kind of alloy? You say, hey, I wonder what they did in this town. It takes a while to find a person who can tell you what they did in that town, and even then you don't fully understand it. That's YouTube. YouTube is that town. So go to Rumble.